Hello and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. This is a podcast for people who like to turn trash into cash. Today, this is the second podcast that is couples oriented. It's me, Wendy, and Mikey.
Hi.
And we're a couple. And last week you heard from our friends Jay and Ryan, and this week you're hearing from us. The theme of today's podcast is the eBay lifestyle. And we're going to just talk a little bit about how our lives have been shaped by our decision to be eBay sellers. I think, Mikey, one of the things that we would have to agree is a huge factor is just time.
Yeah, absolutely. We have all sorts of free time based on our other lifestyle choices of, having a garden and making our own fuel and kind of doing things that don't require us to have a full-time job because we don't have a lot of expenses. But eBay helps us take that even further and stay out of consulting and taking other work.
And maybe we should go back and say, like, about 7 years ago, you and I made a commitment and a decision to quit some very intense full-time career-oriented work for the purpose of experimenting with a lifestyle that was less reliant on money and also less structured and less ambitious in terms of career and like just seeking the dollar, right? So we wanted more free time, and in particular, we wanted time to be home to make stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, for me, I feel like the thing I love about the time aspect is I can sleep till I feel like waking up. I can garden. I could just like follow the rhythms that I feel as a person, and eBay is always there. If I do it in the middle of the night, if I do it at 7 in the morning, if I do it 7 at night, nobody really cares. It's the kind of thing that, as much as I want to give it, is what it gives back to me. If I put a lot of time in, it gives me a lot more money. If I put less time in, so be it.
I think last night is a good example of that because we woke up at 4 in the morning and went out and watched a meteor shower. And that would have been really difficult to do. Well, one, if we were living in New York because we couldn't see anything, but too many lights. But it would have been difficult to get up at 4 a.m. for anything and then go to work a few hours later. So it was nice that we got to sleep in this morning like we do. We tend to get up kind of early usually.
eBay doesn't care.
Let's
face it, like, it's nighttime in Australia. It's always like some time somewhere. I also like that as my life changes, when I had a job, it was like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is my skill set, this is my routine. But now that I have a more freelance lifestyle and eBay is a part of it, every day can be totally different. It can be like, well, I'm kind of interested in this right now, and everything can shift to meet it. And then, well, I'm kind of interested in that right now. So I could be a yoga teacher, I can be a writer, I can just keep changing my mind. And eBay will always sort of morph and adapt and take the form it needs to still supplement my income.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the writing thing because we are going to be traveling this summer for part of a book tour, and Wendy wrote a book, and I think what's really interesting about it is we are going to plan on making some money
while we're traveling.
Maybe more than the book tour.
Well, that's the thing. You look at a book tour and it's like, okay, I have to shut down all my home businesses, right? We have to close our eBay store. We can't take God knows how many hundreds of pounds of inventory with us on the road. We have to shut that down. We have to shut down our other internet-based stores, businesses, and we have to go on the road and spend money while we're not earning money. So what became immediately evident to us was this is an opportunity to go on a buying trip. And I have done buying trips before. Mainly I go out to Los Angeles to visit one of my childhood friends, and it's a blast. I have never gone and not paid for the trip through what I purchased at garage sales while I was there. And I've noticed also that while you're in a new city as a buyer, you still get that view of I'm learning about a place. In LA, it's all about camera equipment. Every place has its signature.
And audio equipment. They had some good Walkmans you've come home with.
Yeah. So, it's still interesting. It's still like investigative reporting in a way. So there's another aspect, though, to travel, which is, remember when we went to Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last December we went to Mexico for a week with my family, and We were gone the week before Christmas, so pretty heavy sales time for eBay. There was still enough room that people could be buying as Christmas gifts. And we sold like some good amount of merchandise that week while we were on vacation.
And we were panicked, like, oh my God, I can't believe we just let your parents book us on this trip, the biggest buying week of the year, a week before Christmas. But we said, well, let's just see what happens. Mm-hmm. So we went. We didn't turn the store off.
We did set it to vacation mode, and this is something different than Jay and Ryan do. So basically, it alerted the buyer that the seller is on vacation, but it still allowed them to make a purchase.
Right. They're just not going to get it shipped till a particular date.
Right. And it also shows what date we're coming back, which is nice for the buyer to know.
So we made a ton of money while sitting
on the
in
beach.
Cancun.
Yeah, and we were literally on the beach.
Oh, no, we were in Cozumel.
But we visited Cancun, too.
Anyway, another kind of great thing about how free your schedule is when you're an eBay seller is you get to vacation in reverse. So we don't have to we're not forced to take vacation in the end of August like 80% of the, corporate world. We can go on vacation when everyone else is not on vacation. So everything's cheaper. There's no traffic. We can do everything in reverse, basically.
Yeah, we can go into a big city on a Wednesday instead of on a Saturday and avoid all the traffic around, the restaurants and other hubbub.
So I want to talk about the dinging phone. So Jay and Ryan, when they did their podcast this week, they talked about the software that you got them hooked on, which
it's just the eBay app.
Oh, it is the eBay app.
Yeah, it just has an option to do the
anyway,
cha-ching.
So we get the cha-ching, and when Mikey first got the cha-ching, it was really fun because you hear cha-ching and you're like, oh my God, I made a sale, and everyone runs to their phone. What do we sell? But we had the cha-ching on at night.
Yeah, that got old. We'd be sleeping and the phone would go cha-ching because someone in Australia bought a scarf, So we finally had to put our phones into a sleep mode.
Yeah,
and
that
you
was
set
crazy.
The hours. Yeah.
And for a while, you had it going cha-ching, and there was some kind of siren-like light, a strobe light.
Oh, that was the worst. That was disability mode. There's an accessibility feature with
Sweetie, we're not disabled.
Yeah. I just wanted to see.
Well, we saw.
Yeah.
There was an epileptic seizure.
No, it was lightning in the living room. Yeah. So anyway, the cha-ching is we have a sale on eBay, and then there are a few other sounds, and we always refer to it as someone wants to talk, and that's usually when we get a message. Right. And then there's finally.
What does that sound?
I don't remember. You'd think we'd know it because we hear it all the time. And then finally there's the PayPal sound of a final payment going through.
Right.
So they're all three distinct sounds, and they all provoke this huge amount of emotion between us and indivially. And no,
we should get hooked up to some heart monitors and some other EEGs, and look at just the stimuli response to all these sounds. I was teaching a yoga class last week, and the cha-ching was going off in my purse.
Oh, and you're the yoga teacher, so that's really a big. Oh no.
So, well, let's talk about what we like about this lifestyle and what we don't. What do you think?
Well, I was just thinking about this last week, and I was thinking that, you can work hard on eBay, and you can list thousands of items a year, and you can make all these sales, but you kind of don't get much out of it in the end. You're kind of walking away with well, I made the cash, and I have a little bit of knowledge about the items I've sold, but there's not, you're not leaving your mark on the world.
So it's not like a woodworker who makes a table and they get to look at it and go, I made that.
Yeah, and maybe keep it in their home forever and pass it down to their grandchildren. There is a shallowness to it.
Now, you can call that shallowness, or you can call it Zen master, because, there's something kind of amazing about being invisible and having no footprint, no trace.
Yeah.
Because essentially, while I agree we don't leave anything concrete behind, we also have taken goods that are on their way to the landfill and pushed them into a new category of back in use. And that's
Yeah, and I think there's, as we're cleaning out our shed this week and taking all these items that we haven't used in years and putting them on eBay and, getting $50, $100, even more for some items, there's a certain amount of, guilt-free sort of, you know, you
Yeah.
don't feel like you're hoarding all this stuff. You don't feel like you just gave it away and didn't have time to think about it. You know, like taking that
Yeah,
those
there's
few
a fairness
minutes to
to
list it.
getting a couple bucks for it, and there's a sweetness to also passing it on. Yeah, I agree.
But much like Jay and Ryan's podcast, you and I both desire the Zen state of
Yeah.
empty. Like we have an empty kitchen, an empty living room, no stuff allowed policy.
Very few little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the ways this lifestyle is really a conflict for us, which is we are anti-hoard.
No tchotchke.
No tchotchke. We are very keep it low and light, and it's very hard to. So when you open certain doors in our Zen home, you know, the shit comes flying out at you because it's packed in there, and there's not much we can do about it. It's just, that's our inventory.
Yeah, you know, one thing I really like is there's sometimes I pick up stuff and I don't have time to fix them, but you can still sell them as on eBay.
That is really amazing to me. Every time we sell something broken and just for parts,
Right.
I can't believe it.
Right. I mean, they're clearly labeled, just like you said, used, broken, not working for parts.
Right.
So it's clear to the buyer what they're getting into, and that's not an issue. But I have like a finish gun right now. The trigger broke on it. It's this complex thing to go and fix it, but I see that people are still getting $80 for these. So
And you know, you are always buying broken for parts stuff yourself. I
Right.
see you do it. You're a geek. You're like, I need some stuff from the guts of this. And you buy it.
right. So at least, like you pointed out earlier, it does save it from the landfill.
Now, you know, we do gain something from this. We do gain skills that we've used in a variety of other ways. Like, we know how to ship anything.
I think that eBay in particular teaches you how to ship anything just through the numbers of just shipping items every day and shipping all different sizes and shipping to all different
Through all
places.
different systems.
Because you and I have been shipping for years, kits and plants and other stuff.
Now we're good at it.
Right, but it was all pretty small in certain sizes and just to the U.S. And now eBay has forced us to be experts.
Yeah. And we're also really good at receiving money. I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but, you know, now we know all the different ways people can send us money. We can accept credit cards. We're selling a car. Never before in my life was I able to put in my Craigslist ad, I take credit cards.
Right.
And that opens it up to how many other people who couldn't afford to buy. It's like offering a loan practically.
Yeah, well, we're not. Yeah, we're not offering the loan, but yes,
No, but they
we're
get to
helping them.
behave like
Yeah.
they have a loan.
Hurting
You
them.
know, I think one of my favorite things, for sure, about having an eBay business is because we're out there in the land of scrap and we're buying and upgrading. Occasionally I'm going to put stuff in my house and live with it for a while, and there's this feeling of like everything's always getting better. I'm dumping something sort of cruddy because I found a better version. And I do this all the time. Oh, I got another one. Oh, I got another one. No, I got a better version of this. And then I let the other one go. And the feeling this leaves me with is like things are just always getting better. Whereas before, when we were just kind of consumers and we were, you know, making a paycheck each week, we bought new goods. And I remember always having this little like sting, this little sour taste in my mouth of dissatisfaction. Like, oh, you know, it's not really that good. But when you get like something from the waste stream and it's free and you discovered it and you're like a pioneer and you found it, it's like such a celebration. And it's like, yay, it's like a gift. There's no disappointment.
I think we always have that issue for ourselves. Like right now, as we reorganize our shed, we could use certain things to help organize it. And like the dilemma that we face is, should we go online to some like store that sells all these organizational?
Or do we wait?
Or do
if
we
you're
wait
willing to
for
wait, that's what it's all about. It's time.
Right.
If you're willing to wait, you're going to find it in the waste stream without question. You
Yeah.
just have to ask yourself, can I wait?
We'll find those smart, stylish, ergonomically.
The other thing
organizing.
is, you know, when everything comes from the waste stream, you really have nothing to lose. If it breaks, if something, whatever, someone comes over, whoops, sorry, I just spilled a drink on it. Like, who cares?
Yeah, takes your fork.
There's no worry. You want to steal it, steal it. You know, let me help you out the door. Yeah. So that's fun. And I like that, you know, half the stuff in our home these days is actually for sale while it's hanging on the wall. And that's just fun. Like, things are moving, everything's really fluid. It's just a different way to live, you know?
Yeah. So on the eBay Lifestyle podcast that Jay and Ryan did, they got into the employee part, that they really like just doing the thing themselves, not having to train people, and having that aspect of work being around where people are constantly coming to them for work and they have to manage and pay. And I think you and I have a similar feeling to that. We don't like having employees coming here on a regular basis. Like, that would bother us.
Yeah. I don't want to work for anybody, and I don't want anyone working for me. This is my goal in life. Mm-hmm. So I've had employees work for me in the past, and I've certainly been an employee, and I don't like either one. So I am really happy.
Yeah. And you and I also both just like being home as opposed to going to a workplace.
Right.
So, it's great that we can...
Well, how often are, we're doing our eBay thing and you're making cheese or making bread, we're cooking, we're fermenting, we get deliveries, we're always here for them. Like, the things we get to do while working are so luxurious.
Yeah, like today, we made 2 meals in the Dutch oven. Well, we made a bread and a frittata in the Dutch oven, putting the Dutch oven in the sun oven in both cases. And if you've ever used the sun oven, you got to turn it every few...
Right. You have to be home.
Every 15 minutes, you want to go out and check on it. This would be a really difficult things to do if we had a 9-to-5 kind of job. Like, the sun wouldn't be up early enough, and it wouldn't be out late enough. Like, we'd be not able to use a sun oven.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think that takes us kind of back to time. Our time is our own, and we're making use of it. I think my favorite thing, I guess I have a few favorite things. I really like living from the waste stream. I really like knowing that I'm not consuming new materials, and I like knowing that I'm helping others to do the same. I like knowing that I could just take any old dead space in my house, a closet, an extra room, not make it pretty, not do anything special, just turn it into storage, and I'm in business. I just, that's all I need. I practically can do it with a tent.
That's a good idea. We could get some bins and a tent and expand.
But maybe even beyond that is I love not dealing with the public.
Oh, I totally understand this. We have friends that have stores, and I just feel bad for them. You get talked at. Maybe this is more of a small town thing, too, where people just come in and, take up camp and just start talking to you.
You're a hostage.
Oh, the hostage behind the register. And you have to show up and check people out. That's crazy to me. Yeah. I can't believe we still have brick and mortar stores that are doing well.
Well, let's face it, sweetie. I think we've learned that we're totally unemployable.
That's for sure.
We're way too independent. And this just suits us. This really suits our lifestyle.
Yeah, selling online in general, but even more specifically, eBay has been really a nice way to just fundraise.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to stick with it.
Yep. Okay, so thank you for listening to another episode of eBay Scavengers, and next week I have no idea what's going to happen.
Next week is just all surprise.
All surprise. So tune in next week and see what happens.
Ciao.